All right, let's get cooking. Welcome to the latest edition of Chin Check Sports Radio. I'm your host, JD. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to listen to us. And as always, we welcome any suggestions, feedback, comments, and criticisms, which improves the quality of our program, which ultimately improves your listening experience. On tonight's broadcast, we're going to do our review of the WBC Heavyweight Championship rematch between Deontay Wilder and Luis King Kong Ortiz. Needless to say, it was just what we spoke of and predicted on our last broadcast. We didn't see the fight going past the 8th round. Now, how we got to the knockout is what we're going to talk about in a little bit. Now, in the first round of that fight, well, let me go back a little bit further. I give Deontay Wilder credit. He does come with some different, and I would say spectacular, I would say unusual, I would say fits his style and his personality, ring wear wardrobe or wardrobe he wears to the ring. I don't know what type of majestic outfit that he had, but I actually thought it was pretty cool. The ring music he had, I thought was pretty cool as well. So I give Deontay credit for putting the time and energy into his outfit that he wears to the ring. So, of course, after all the hype, of all the talk, of all the undercard fights, that some undercard fights weren't really that bad. Leo Santa Cruz won again. Is he ready for Gervonta Tank Davis? That's another issue. I thought the young kid Brandon Figueroa, he won his fight, but he showed a lot of holes in his defense that I thought if he was in there with a more of a top-notch fighter, things could have been bad. So just some things, that I observed in the undercard fight. So we get ready for the rematch. Again, heavily hyped rematch. And in the first round, of course, that's your feel-out round. And I felt that Deontay Wilder looked a little dry coming out for round one. It's like, did he warm up enough? I didn't really see a good sweat. His body seemed dry. Ortiz seemed a little bit looser. So in that first round, of course, it was a very slow first round. I gave the first round to Luis Ortiz simply based on landing one solid left hand. All right, I thought it was a nice little left hand that he clipped Deontay Wilder with, and I gave Luis Ortiz the first round. In the second round, I gave Luis Ortiz again the second round based on activity. I felt he was more of the aggressor. I thought he tried to bring the fight to Deontay Wilder. And really, Deontay Wilder wasn't really throwing any punches. I thought Luis Ortiz was the effective aggressor or showed effective aggressiveness. So I gave the second round to Luis Ortiz. As for the third round, kind of more the same, where I didn't understand where Deontay Wilder, what he was trying to do, what his strategy was. And I give Ortiz credit. It looks like he was starting to make the adjustments or correct his mistakes from the last fight, being caught with the wide winging punches of Deontay Wilder, when he kept his left hand up, blocked it, and was deflecting and blocking a lot of his punches. So I gave the third round to Luis Ortiz. Same more in the fourth round. Again, I was trying to figure out what Deontay Wilder was doing. Again, more the same. I thought Luis was hitting him with some nice, solid body shots, digging a straight left hand right to the body, occasionally trying to mix it up upstairs. At one point, Deontay did land a solid right hand towards the end of the fourth round, but if anything, I felt that was Deontay Wilder's first meaningful punch in the entire fight, and that came in the fourth round. It was a hard right hand, a very showy right hand, but really didn't seem to really have a lot on it, didn't really cause any damage. In the fifth round, I gave more the same. Deontay Wilder started to pick up the pace a little bit, but I still gave the fifth round to Luis Ortiz, again, based on activity, effective aggression. I don't know what Fox Sports, what punch counter or their version of the old copy box was having, but to show that Deontay Wilder was outlanding Luis Ortiz, I didn't quite understand that. And Judge Larry Hazard Sr., and I have all the respect in the world for him, Hall of Famer, Atlantic City, nice guy. I've seen him in person at fights. nice guy, but I didn't get him being the unofficial ring judge for the Fox pay-per-view had Deontay Wilder ahead in the fight. So I didn't understand that. I didn't agree with those scorecards, but hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So I gave the 5th round to Luis Ortiz. I even gave the 6th round to Luis Ortiz. And the reason why, again, was Ortiz's, I thought, effective aggression. I thought him walking Deontay Wilder down, which if you're walking Deontay Wilder backwards, he can't really get his full body weight on his punches. So I gave the first 6 rounds of that fight to Luis Ortiz. And it's really because of his effective aggression and lack of activity from Deontay Wilder. And I thought that Luis Ortiz did a great job of throwing some nice lefts to the body. It may look like Deontay kind of got flustered and frustrated, but he kept his poise. But I gave the first 6 rounds to Luis Ortiz. In the 7th round, I felt it was more the same. Deontay Wilder came out a little bit more aggressive, a little bit sloppy on some of his punches, but I thought he came out a little bit more aggressive. I thought Ortiz was fighting a nice, tight, disciplined, a nice, controlled fight. In the 7th round, there was a mix in action where I thought that Ortiz, I'm not going to say hurt Deontay Wilder, but I'm going to say buzzed him and got his attention. And I know I was talking with a couple brothers that was saying that Deontay needs to get off the ropes because his back was against the ropes, and Ortiz was taking his time and not charging in and not unloading a fusillade of punches on Wilder. And it looks like Deontay was a little bit, like I said, buzzed, not really hurt or stunned, but I would definitely say buzzed. And for some reason, Ortiz lets him off the ropes. Deontay angles out, and now at this point, Luis Ortiz's back is against the ropes. And then Deontay Wilder unloads a straight right hand out of nowhere, right down the pike. And he unloads this right hand and connects with Luis Ortiz. And down he goes, knees give way, flat on his back, wasn't moving, where Deontay Wilder didn't even look at him. I think even he knew it was over. The referee counted, and Luis Ortiz was finally up at the count of 9, I believe, and clearly he was in no position to defend himself, and referee Kenny Bayless stopped the fight. So definitely that is, I feel, prophetic, what Deontay Wilder says when he says a fighter has to be perfect for 12 rounds, and all he needs is 5 seconds. So I give him all the credit in the world. Again, this guy hits like a ton of bricks. I mean, the guy hits hard. And what's frustrating about him is he was struggling. Again, I thought he lost the first 6 rounds. You can maybe give him a case of maybe 1 round, but I thought he lost all 6 rounds. And I look at it as he was being outboxed, wasn't really landing anything, wasn't really throwing a lot of punches. I thought Luis Ortiz fought an excellent fight, backing him up. He was mixing his shots, throwing left hands to the body, trying to take the steam off the punches for later on in the fight. And Deontay made one adjustment. Again, he came out throwing wider punches, and it looked as if Deontay Wilder really didn't have a strategy except to knock Ortiz out. Wasn't really, threw a few jabs here and there, wasn't really consistent with it. Threw some right hands here and there, but again, wasn't very consistent with it. Threw some left hooks to the body, but wasn't very consistent with it. So it make you wonder, what was his strategy going into the fight other than knockout? So that's why I felt that Ortiz was controlling the action, because Deontay's plan was to just knock the guy out, which he did in that 7th round, straight right hand to the body. And if you look at that knockout in slow motion, when Luis Ortiz hit the canvas, his eyes looked cross-eyed. His eyes did not look there. He clearly was out of it. And when his knees collapsed underneath him and he was stretched out under the ropes and he tried to get up at the count of 9, and that was it. And usually when guys fall out like that, for the most part, that's it. For the most part, it's over. The only person I can think of who got up from a knockdown like that is lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. So the rematch, the knockout of Luis Ortiz, sets up the rematch versus Tyson Fury from their classic fight at the end of 2018. So I am definitely looking forward to it. Once Tyson Fury gets this professional wrestling a bug out of his system, him wrestling with Braun Strowman and doing tag team wrestling, if he can get that out of his system, he can start training for the fight. And the fight is right around the corner in February, right after the Super Bowl. So as time gets closer, we're going to do our preview and our analysis of the fight. But I definitely want to give Deontay Wilder all the credit in the world for, again, successfully defending his title. He is proven to be a fighting champion. He does have the knockout power, and all kudos and respect are due to Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. So this is Chin Check Radio signing off. Until the next time.